Hadring got himself another
Why don't you take
customer,
off that
eh?
stupid armor and wear something that suits you?
Like what? A dress? Yeah, that's right, you woodhugger. I can see your jokes coming from an ocean away. Sad thing is, a dress would look better on me than on that troll carcass you call
None of that weird
Baba.
alchemy taste.
Speak up already.
Need a room? Or maybe just some mead? Anything you need.
Need something?
Just holler.
Hold on, skeever bait. I ain't no drogger. Not a real one, anyway. How about I piss in your flagon and you tell me it's honey? You blind or just slow? Ebony's my sword. My girl. She always has my back, and I mean that literally.
Something I can get for you?
Speak up already. Hold on, skeever bait. The Nords used to call me Morris, the living draugr, because of my prowess on the battlefield and the fear I struck in my enemies. Well, that came after. I figured if these sodding ice blondies were going to start calling me a draugr, I might as well look the part. Now, where was I? Right, on account I ain't dead. Only now I've gotten to that age where they don't bother to make a distinction. I mean, I get it. Maybe I can't swing Ebony the way she likes it. Maybe some days I wake up and my knees burn, or my back starts barking like my old lady used to when I forgot to burn the trash. But I'm hardly an old man, even for a warrior. Some say I'm still worth the swords of 20 men. I've been saying it for years. I suspect you're right. None of these bedwetters would dare mock Morris the living draugr to his face. Like I said, used to be. I reckon I wouldn't be here in this sloat belly of an inn if she still was. We met in one of them forts. I was feeding Ebony a nice plate of bandit breakfast when I found one of them still in her bedroll. Now, I ain't no softy. I'll kill a man in his sleep. This one, though, she just rolls over and looks at me with those big doe eyes just as I was about to take her head. So I took her maidenhead instead. Next day, we went to the chapel in Riften and got Mara's blessing. The priest asked me if I'd love her now and forever, and I was too much of a coward to run. Not quite. The old lady got on me like any big Nord cow, but it wasn't all scars and prison bars. Not like some of these fur huggers made it seem. I don't know about you, but I find a lot of these Talos lovers like to boast about the strength of their women as much as the power of their god. Then the first chance they get, they go out and marry some Breton girl that can fit in their palm. I stuck by my old lady. Reckon half the time I deserved it, and the other half she needed to let it out just to keep her head straight. Ain't easy giving up a bow and arrow for a kettle and broom. In a word, it was her father. I know that's how it usually is, but approval was one thing this bootlicker didn't lack. No, if anything, he approved too much. Thing is, before I came riding in on my white horse, him and the old lady weren't exactly on speaking terms. Us tying the knot changed that. As far as he was concerned, I was some dashing milk drinker who came and rescued his princess like in them stories. Yeah, only now the poor fool wet his pants if I so much as left the house, scared his little girl will go back to being a bandit again. Of course, that meant I was dragging around 2 ball and chains instead of 1. But one of them ain't exactly my type, and the other one's a man. Not something, someone. It all started when I was exploring the Forsaken Cave in Eastmarch. I was being chased by Draugr, and like a dumb mule, I stepped on a pressure plate. Next thing I know, I'm taking a battering ram to the gut. Shattered just about every rib I own, and other parts I didn't know I had. I crawled back to Windhelm, lay in bed at Candlehearth Hall for 2 straight days. Couldn't even breathe without pain. Then I get this message from an urchin. Said Orthus and Dario wanted to see me about a job. I told him to go screw. The next day, Orthus himself graces me with his presence. I tell him again to go screw. Said I'm too tired to be running his errands. Orthus says it's a milk run, a training exercise for new Legion recruits. They were escorting a minimum security shipment to Solitude. All I had to do was show the little cave rats what to look out for. They'd even be another senior soldier from the, what do you call it? Pennius Ocularium? Hey, my ancestors were Colovian. We founded the Legion. It's the Nibbanese that made up all the little titles and rituals. A warrior doesn't go advertising his injuries. Lets the bad guys know where to stick it. So what? You saying I can't call a Nord a bloody snowbard because we're family? Seems like that gives me all the more right. You bet your sweet roll I did. A man in my position doesn't pass up easy coin, even if it means dealing with Nibbanese worms. The trouble was, this senior Legion officer took exception to my reputation. Didn't like that the recruits looked up to an outsider. Especially a Colovian Imperial dressed in the armor of a Frosthugger. He tried to put me in my place. Said stuff that'd make the Daedra cover their ears. But I can give it as good as I can take it. Not that it was hard, what with that stupid Legion skirt he was wearing. Problem is, my insults worked too well. See, we were just up the road from here when we got ambushed by a snow bear. Uh-oh is right. Instead of trying to show me up, this Legionnaire coward gives way, forcing me to take the lead. I swear this bear came at me like I killed its sister, and I couldn't even lift Ebony over my head. I swear this bear came at me like I killed its sister, and I couldn't even lift Ebony over my head. The weight and the pain dropped me to the ground. Now I ain't no lily liver, but sometimes a man has to swallow his pride and ask for help. If only I asked. Instead, I looked back and screamed. Funny thing is, the officer, even the recruits, they were all laughing. I was so hysterical I didn't even notice the stupid bear was licking my face. Yeah, my ribs hurt so bad they had to carry me here. All the while, this Legionnaire has a grin on his face like an open wound. Not a week later, and there isn't a bard in Skyrim who isn't telling the tale of Morris the Draugr and the bear who pitied him. You blind or just slow. Ebony's my sword, my girl. She always has my back, and I mean that literally. And there's a pine tree living in my trousers, but you don't see me bothering you about it. What's that mean? One less orc in the world? Excuse me if I don't go to my room and sob to death. I'm sure he's down in the cellar, just like Hadring says, or out on the pier. And if he ain't, well, nobody's gonna miss him. There's a cellar door that leads to the back of the inn, and if he passed through here, I was probably too drunk to notice. I never see this orc everyone keeps muttering about. Maybe he opened his trap once too often and got himself killed. Or worse, he's sober.
Need a room? Or maybe just some mead?
What is it? Hold on. Are you alright? You look like you got ataxia. I'm not a priestess, but I did read Withershins back in the year 199. It's probably nothing, but don't blame me if your dagger falls off in the morning. Although I think that's a symptom of rattles. Either way, dagger pants, the name's Colin. What can I do you for? Not much of a talker. No, Morris, that one's a talker. He won't shut up about his dead wife and the corpse he calls his manhood. Well, he's got his moments. I come to this inn and first thing I ask Hadwin is, what you got to drink? And Morris says, I hope you like piss. Poor Hadwin. His swill ain't so bad, but with these socialist drinkers around, spreading gossip like a midwife, it's no wonder this inn is so dead. That's an understatement. Bards like to exaggerate. Yards like to exaggerate. Morris will step on a cockroach and tell you that he slayed 12 dragons. Pretty much. Got the face for it anyway. I was too cute to be a tavern wench and too ugly to be a brothel whore. And no, I don't have the two mixed up. At least I don't think I do. Which one is Hadwin? Are you sure you're feeling alright? All those veins in your forehead can't be a good thing. Again, I'm not a priestess, but I did stand behind a healer once when she cured some fool I almost clubbed to death. I forget what he looked like. Maybe that was you. Is your name Heimsker? Okay, so I lied. I talk, but I also get things done. So, if you got things need slaying, I gotta steal to slay 'em. Well, more like I got the iron. Rusty iron, if you want to be particular. Rusty enough to give a bandit a real dirty nick. A nick that might fester and kill him. Although it doesn't really cut as much as it clubs. But if you smack him hard enough, they die all the same. Ain't much to tell. I tried being a soldier for the Empire until I realized that I hate taking orders. I thought about training warriors, but I hate giving orders more than taking them. I thought about becoming a beggar, but they make little more than sell swords. I thought maybe I become a priest, until I remembered that the only god I worship is coin. So I decided to become an adventurer, because pretty much anyone qualifies. Pretty much. And no, I don't have the two mixed up. At least I don't think I do. Which one is Hadwin? Well, he wouldn't be the first one who needed a good shave. Never met a bald tavern wench, though. If Hadwin didn't rip out all of his hair and stuff it up his nose, I'd say we're onto something. Pretty much. And no, I don't have the two mixed up. Is that what he is? I guessed as much, him keeping the inn and all. I did sort of hope he wasn't. It would explain why he's so awful at it. Pretty much. And no, I don't have the two mixed up. The old goat's gotta live the inn to somebody, though. Maybe I ought to get one of those marrow amulets. See if the fish are biting. That's the thing with men. Dumber than a sack of forks when it comes to getting their thing wet. Well, this is gonna sound pretty stupid. Because it is. It's pretty much the stupidest thing in the history of stupid ways a person can answer the question, what are you doing, stupid? I'm here for hawkers. Yeah, that's right. Hawkers. Told you it was stupid. See, I have this friend, and he's mad about hawkers. Just loves them. Loves to eat them, that is. Anything else would be too weird. Eating them is weird enough. You can't be serious. Well, for starters, there's a... And suddenly I'm drawing a blank. That's embarrassing. Right. So, one day we're at some inn and he's gobbling down the slop while I'm gobbling down the ale. He's eating about the half of it when he gets up and goes outside to, you know, drop his own little hawk in the hay. He tells me to watch his stew, as if anyone would put that poison in their mouth but him. Thing is, my head's spinning from all the ale, and pretty soon my arms are spinning too, especially when one of them birds starts chirping. Take a guess. The big oaf came back right when it hit the floor. Now, I'm expecting things to go airborne. Mugs, flagons, benches, alchemy tables. But he just walked away. Didn't say a word. Would have been easier if he just let me have it. I said it was stupid. But on the other hand, everyone's got their quirks. Gorse is Horker's too. Worse yet, he spent a week up north gathering that meat. And I don't know how he does it. To me, killing Horkers is duller than an Altmer mating ritual. Those things are like watching paint dry on a portrait of Lind. New friends aren't necessarily good friends. It's hard to find decent company. Most people you talk to, it's like reading some 10-volume tome about the shape of Nord beards. At least with Gore, I managed to keep awake long enough for him to bore me. That's right. Heard they got a bunch of real fat ones by Lake Yorgrim. Figured they'd clubber a few and bring them back as a peace offering. Good point. If I really wanted to show the big oaf I cared, I wouldn't have just any old hawker. I heard up north they got one as big as a galleon and as ugly as an orc's first wife. Problem is, I'm not so good at finding stuff. Losing stuff? No, I'm the queen of that. Finding? Not so much. You what? Are you serious? By Morris's cheese breath you are. Well, far be it for me to talk you out of something stupid. Now, the Horkers here are too small, but Hadring says there's a Horker so big it sunk an entire ship somewhere up north. They call it a brine hammer. We should head on over there. You can take the lead, seeing how excited you are to do this. I'm more of a follower anyway. No one ever comes to this dump. Alright, but don't take too long, else I'll have to kill this thing without you.
I used to drink ale, but then I realized it all tastes the same. Wine is another story.
Need something?
Sport. Others like to kill for food. I say, why not do both?
Come on, Ugly. Let's dance. No one ever comes to this dump. Yeah. No one ever comes to this dump. Alright, we're here. You got a plan? Or do you just want to charge and stab him?
The day I've succeeded at everything is the day I killed myself. There are no more mountains to climb.
I like it. Just don't try and be cute and go for my backside. It ain't that big. Hold on. Did you hear that? More importantly, do you smell that? That island over there! Look! Look at the size of that thing. It's like an Argonian gave birth to a mammoth and taught it to swim. And the smell? Oh, it's like feet wrapped in an armpit and garnished with moldy cheese. Well, here goes nothing. Charge! By the divines, we did it. Well, mostly you did, but I watched. Some people won't even do that. The smart ones, anyway. In any case, I was thinking, we could bring some of this Hulk meat back to Gore, but I won't help him, seeing as he cooks as bad as he sweats. Problem is, we can't take this meat to just any chef. It would be like taking a fine piece of ebony to an Altmer blacksmith. Well, I heard there was some fancy Breton from Hierarch living in the Reach. Cooks with magic or potions or something like that. I figure a chef like that must be completely mad. Mad enough to want to cook Hulkers. Well, he's a Breton and sells health potions that taste like taffy. Except the potions aren't good for anything but a paper cut. Now they say he's cooking with magic. Magic. Guy like that probably works with all sorts of crazy meats. Good. Make sure to get a good hunk of meat from that thing. I'd say wrap it in ice, but Skyrim's pretty much one big glacier. What is it?
Have you come to taste my potions and ingredients? Ah, another adventurer. You must be here seeking to sample my culinary potions. They are known throughout Tamriel as the first potions capable of healing the body while delighting the palate. So you are unfamiliar with my work? How uncultured of you. My name is ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ, the finest alchemical cook in all of Tamriel. The recipe's at my shop in Hierarch, I'm afraid. Although the truth is, I can't be bothered with the practice any longer. You see, I have already moved on to the next frontier, cooking with magic. I came because I heard a rumor that the Jarl's chef was a friend of the gourmet. I wished for him to set up a culinary duel where I would be declared once and for all the finest chef in all of Tamriel. But the fool wouldn't even acknowledge his relationship with the impostor. Naturally, I took this as a sign of his surrender. I suspect not. I simply hope he does not cower away and retire. It would be much harder to topple the myth of his potage than the actual dish. I am experimenting with magic as a culinary tool. I had begun with restoration in an attempt to remove the unwanted side effects from my earlier work. I have abandoned that practice to focus on the effects of illusion magic and how it can influence one's sense of taste. You see, every person has a different palate, and this means a different experience, regardless of whether one eats the same food. Sating one's palate is not just a product of how a meal tastes, but how the mind perceives an object's flavor. Well, my latest dish combines the alchemical properties of creep clusters and giant's toe as additives in foods heavy with starch. The result is a lighter, fluffier bread and potatoes that melt in your mouth. The dilemma is getting patrons to try something cooked with the toenail clippings of one of those primitive ogres. If a courage spell could be activated by the aroma of a dish, it could deflect any fears rooted in perception. That is not what I meant. You are being reductive. The illusion I speak of is subtle. It is necessary to assuage a patron's fear of new cuisine. I believe that their fear will influence the flavor. If the contents remain mysterious, they would lick the plate clean. It is an expression. Do not make them think you are like the Hound, or they will scratch your ears and make you play fetch.
The shadows in the city are long for a
Ask
reason.
questions if you must, but I suggest you read the book that I have left in the chef's quarters. It is quite thorough. Although at times I admit, it is far too didactic. It does not capture the spirit of my invention, for I am an artist, an auteur. Well, unlike some of my more unadventurous peers, my cuisine is the product of my creative vision. It pushes the boundaries of what is food. This is not to say my creations are merely limited to sating the appetite. While Julianos blessed me with wisdom, Stendar has gifted me with mercy. That is what led me to developing the world's first delectable health potion. Good for the body, pleasing to the palate. How dare you insinuate that avarice and not art was my motivation? And for your information, the potion does work. Not as effectively as a traditional potion, but it suffices for minor cuts and bruises. Exactly. I have provided the innovation and the inspiration. Let the masses figure out how to mask the imperfections and occasional side effects. Nor do I look like a cook, for I'm far too handsome to be any of the three. But you are right. I do not have the training in this field. My assistant, Miley Hawking, handles such matters. She is also a writer and publishes my various recipes and culinary musings. I regret she was unable to accompany me on this trip, as one of my dishes had some unwanted consequences which I do not wish to speak of. I regret she was unable to accompany me on this trip, as one of my dishes had some unwanted... Let us just say, I will not cast aspersions on her husband if he leaves her for another woman. Or something that at least resembles one. It is not my fault, mind you. Miley is quite devoted to my cause, and at times she will sample things that are purely experimental in nature. You must understand, the art of cooking is a very delicate process. The recipe, the quality of ingredients, and the skill of the chef all affect the end product. If one were to mix a restore potion out of wheat and Blue Mountain flour, he may be tempted to mix in a piece of honeycomb to sweeten the taste. The result might be a health potion that simultaneously ravages his stamina. Perhaps. I know of mages who add a little extra moon sugar to their magica potions for flavor. Yet, when they drink said potion, their enemies double in number and grow fangs that touch the floor. But that is a risk we must take. Taste is paramount. That is my duty as chef. I apologize, but I am not a common house chef who patronizes random citizens. Now, if you'll excuse me...
Listen, you perfume-wearing sausage drinker, and listen well. My friend over here may have asked you nicely, but that's because neither of us thought you were stupid enough not to see we weren't really asking. Well, it turns out you're mighty stupid. And if you want to keep that blister wort you keep between your legs, you'll cook us some hog stew, right now.
Why, I never... Oh, fine. In that case, seeing as I have little choice, I will cook your stew. I trust you brought the meat, or must I magic a hawker out of thin air?
It's conjure a hawker, Breton. You just get dumber with every word. And yes, we do have the hawker meat. Get it from my partner.
By the divines, where did you get this? The marbling, the texture, this is the finest slab of meat I have ever laid my hands upon.
No one ever comes to this dump.
Yes, yes, of course. Such a fantastic dish can only be wrought by the hands of ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ. But I am without my assistant, and she fetches my ingredients. Perhaps you two can get them for me, or just you. The other belligerent one I do not trust with such a delicate task. Let me see. I will need a lavender and a tomato, of course, but this will be no ordinary stew. I will need a potion of resist cold, fire salts, and a scroll of repel undead to ward off contamination. And carrots as well. A good stew could always do with a few carrots. Do you think you can remember that? Of course you can. You are not as dense as that one. Hurry back. Even with my alchemical preservation methods, this meat will only stay fresh for so long. Until next time.
Vanquish could break even from Skyrim.
I am your shield.
They say you can't draw blood from stone. But why draw when you can spit?
Need something? Ah, excellent. Then let us proceed to the kitchen.
I hope you know what you're doing, Brett. I mean, fire salts. What in our case name's that for?
Shut up, wench. Do not interrupt.
Don't mind the
me
dogs.
doing my
They get
work.
anxious when they haven't had dinner.
It is done. Here, my finest work. I call it le Horker Magique. I combined it with a recipe I concocted when thinking about soldiers on long journeys in need of a hot meal. It will remain the perfect temperature even in the coldest of climates and will never, never lose its flavor. For I would never attach my name to something that was not the epitome of culinary perfection. Whoever tastes this stew, you may wish to say goodbye to him, for he will be transported to the heavens when it touches his tongue. In that moment, let it be known that it was ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ and not that fool the gourmet who first set mortals to the stars. And with that, I bid you good luck.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but this smells pretty good. Almost like it wouldn't kill you to have a taste. But don't you dare. That stew's for gore. And yes, I realize me saying that will only make you want to drink it more. I know that's what I'd do. But we didn't come this far to screw it up now. About time.
Good morning.
Yes? Then, if you'll pardon me, I need to update some leaflets. It occurred to me that another advantage of my potions is being able to distinguish between health and magicka by virtue of taste. And before you tell me they have different colors, let me remind you that in the cauldron of battle, one does not have time to inspect his bottle. Yet if he sips and recognizes the flavor, he will know which of my potions he imbibes.
Don't mind the dogs. They get anxious when they haven't had dinner.
There are so few pleasures in life as fine as your company. All right then.
I'm spoken for, you know, so don't get any ideas.
Huh? Never should have come.
Alvar and I, we got a daughter. Well, Dorothy.
Good day, friend. Keeping well?
I don't owe you money, do I?
What's she doing here? You
What do you want?
Hey, easy. I
look
come
like a
to make
traveler.
peace.
Someone that has seen faraway
Peace.
places and heard new
After
stories.
you spilled my stew.
You and your bloody stew. It's like I killed your sister or something. Well, good news, big brother. There's a baby on the way. And don't tell me you don't smell it. I can already see the saliva drifting from your chin.
By Akatosh, friend, this is the most amazing thing I've ever tasted. I feel like I'm back in the arena. My blood boils with the fire of battle. My nose is aroused by the scent of maidens in the crowd. And my tongue feels like it's wrestling 3 juicy horkers in a sea of deliciousness. It's so tasty, I almost don't want to swallow. You and Kalen brought this for me?
So, are we friends again, you big oaf?
I would marry you right now if I didn't know you'd leave me for a bandit.
And you'd leave me for a hawk. So let us forget the pleasantries and skip to the drinking. Thanks. Would have never gotten things smoothed over if it weren't for you. I guess I'll leave Gore alone for now. He doesn't like being disturbed while he's alone with his stew. I'll head back to the inn. Gore probably wants some time alone with his baby. Now, I can't offer much in terms of a reward. Got this body and the sword, but I doubt he won't either. But maybe I'm wrong. If by chance you ever need this rusty iron by your side, it's yours. What is this, some sort of party? You've got someone with you, so I'm not invited. Uh-huh.
Can I help you?
An inn. A lot of my kind call these hunting grounds. Not my style. It isn't. Violent enough.
We got rooms and food. Drink, too. I cook. Ain't much else to tell.
Greetings.